Welcome back to Paternus, Rise of Gods, an oral joust of mythic proportions, where myth walks in the modern world and ancient beings dodge satellites. Today, we drop into Chapter 4, Mendip Hills, where the supernatural meets social media, and the gods of old face the chaos of GPS and the web. We're talking bear men with 1,000-pound hammers, a flying White Watcher losing his mountaintop homes to tourists, and a prison break that needs to outsmart 21st century surveillance. It's an action-packed chapter that challenges everything we think we know about power, identity, and the digital age. Let's turn it over to our mythology mavens of the unshredded as they unpack the chaos, uncertainty, and creeping danger of Chapter 4. Take it away, Winston, Lilith, and Marcus.
Thanks, General War Epic. Once again, you bring us in with verbal cannon fire. Alrighty, my fellow mavens of the myth. Paternus, Rise of Gods, Chapter 4, Mendip Hills. Okay, we head across the pond for the next adventure to check in on a mission alluded to by Baphomet, Watoto, Davies, and the Ravens. I'm starting to get a handle on the factions at play here. You know what's fascinating about mythology? We tend to think of ancient beings as frozen in time, but in Paternus, we're exploring a story where immortal creatures have to deal with possible Instagram posts, GPS, and satellite surveillance.
The way this story blends the ancient and modern is really compelling. Here we have these powerful beings essentially being gentrified out of their traditional territories.
Speaking of territories, let's talk about the White Watcher. This fascinating being who patrols the British Isles from above. He's had to keep relocating because tourists, Watoto, started climbing his mountain homes. First Carantu in Ireland, then Ben Nevis in Scotland.
That's such a perfect example of how these ancient beings are being pushed to adapt. Now he's living in some underwater cave that's only accessible by diving past cliffs. Talk about extreme measures to avoid the ever-connected social media citizenry.
And then we have Bödvar Bjarki, this 10-foot-tall bear man who's basically learning about modern psychology through Google. Here's this ancient warrior who carries a 1,000-pound hammer like it's nothing, but he has to check GPS coordinates to find his target.
The contrast between his physical power and his need to adapt to modern technology is fascinating. He can't even use his magical disguise anymore because, well, 10-foot-tall humans aren't exactly inconspicuous in modern England.
You know what really strikes me? The way these beings have to operate within modern constraints. They're planning this mission to find someone called the Madman, and instead of just storming in, they have to worry about satellite detection and avoiding social media attention.
It's almost like watching supernatural beings deal with GDPR compliance, isn't it? Sorry. Too geeky? Well, they can't just rely on brute force anymore. They need to be tech-savvy and discreet.
All right. Well, let's talk about this mysterious mission they're on. They're using hyperspectral imaging and military satellite technology to find a 1,500-year-old prison. It's like Ocean's 11 meets Norse mythology.
Well, what really gets me is how they considered using a bunker buster missile, but decided against it because they weren't sure modern weapons would work on these ancient beings. That tells us something important about their nature, doesn't it?
Absolutely fascinating point. Despite all our technological advancement, there's still something about these firstborn that technology can't quite handle. Yet they're forced to use current tools like GPS to accomplish their goals.
The psychological aspects are equally intriguing. Bödvar blames his violent tendencies on his father's apparent bipolar nature, or, as he suggests, possibly tripolar. It's this remarkable blend of ancient family dynamics and modern psychological understanding.
And don't forget about this mysterious companion in the rucksack. Whatever it is, it's in water and keeps humming happy tunes, despite Bödvar's attempts to quiet it. It's like the worst stealth mission partner ever.
That detail about the humming coming from water is so intriguing. What kind of creature needs to be transported in water and can't help but sing at inappropriate moments?
The timing constraints they're working under are fascinating too. Despite being these powerful, ancient beings, they still have to wait for nightfall to do their work. There's something almost comical about an immortal being thwarted by the onset of the bird's chirp and the imminent crack of dawn.
The whole scenario really challenges our traditional views of power, doesn't it? These beings might have incredible physical strength, but they're increasingly constrained by human society and technology.
You know what's particularly striking? The way Bödvar relates to the modern world. The only positive thing he can find about current times is that there are still wars. It really emphasizes how out of place these ancient warriors are in our time.
The psychological depth really comes through in moments like that. They're not just powerful beings, they're individuals struggling with their place in a world that's changing faster than ever before.
And yet, despite all these modern elements, the story maintains this sense of ancient power and mystery. The description of Bödvar's sword, Cladonets, and how he's managed to hide it from Father's Deva searchers for millennia reminds us that these beings aren't just powerful, they're part of a much larger mythological world.
Looking ahead, what do you think this collision between ancient and modern means for these beings' future?
Well, that's the big question, isn't it? These beings have survived millennia of change, but they've never had to deal with something like social media or global surveillance. It's not just about physical survival anymore. It's about adapting to a world where privacy is increasingly rare, and where the mysterious and magical have less and less room to exist.
So in the end, we're watching mythology trying to survive in the age of TikTok and X. These beings who once shaped the world now have to worry about showing up in someone's viral video.
And that might be the most fascinating part of all, how these ancient, powerful beings navigate a world where their greatest challenge isn't other gods or monsters, but simply remaining hidden in plain sight. Chapter 5 is up next in Paternus, Rise of Gods. Where will this wild journey take us next? Honestly, reading this book feels like diving into a box of mystery chocolates. You never know what flavor you're going to get, but each bite is unforgettable. For now, I bid you a good day and can't wait for our next roundtable discussion. Cheers!
See ya.
Yeah, adios, guys.
That was Chapter 4 of Paternus, Rise of Gods. And if the idea of Norse warriors dodging viral videos doesn't make your myth-loving heart skip a beat, we don't know what will. The ancient and the modern are colliding, and not everyone's going to make it through unseen. Want to follow the story as it unfolds? Grab your copy of Paternus, Rise of Gods, available in print, ebook, and audiobook formats. You'll find our Amazon affiliate link in the show notes. Using it helps support the podcast at no extra cost and lets you experience every moment of the journey alongside us. Enjoying the series? The chatter of our roundtable pantheon pundits? Post your thoughts, hit that subscribe, leave a review, and share the myth with your fellow fantasy nerds. Next up, Chapter 5. The world gets darker and deeper. Until then, keep your reading close and those myths closer.